run steep, get high, run flat, stay low, run the mountain, run the road, run past the 8-stand to the commode. Oh, run steep, get high, run flat, stay low, one stream, two guys, Mountain Outpost. Now here's your host.
Hey. So I'm looking at the live stream right now, and it looks like it's just a loading symbol. Are you getting that too?
It said that it's live.
Yeah, I'm like on there. I'm on there, and it just like a loading signal. So, well, if you can hear us, welcome to Mountain Outpost Podcast 23. Are you just getting that loading signal too?
I am, but I'm also back in my underground bunker, so that could just be bad signal on my part. Huh. But there are people in the chat.
Let me
and
see.
They have not acknowledged that they
are actually
that they
live.
hear us.
Oh,
so.
Wait, now I see it. It looks like we are good to know. Good to go.
Good to know?
Good to know. Finally.
Good to know and good to go.
Oh. Let's see. Well, we'll give it another second here. Sorry about this technical difficulty. And it stopped. Huh. And
interesting.
It's dead. Okay, let me stop this.
Oh, wait, no, we're back. We're here. We're back. I should probably
Are
also
we?
turn down the video came back on my random phone.
No visual, no audio, no nothing is what they're saying.
Did you forget to pay the Wi-Fi bill at headquarters again?
Is that what happened? I mean, how can I be seeing you if there's no internet?
I'm a figment of your imagination.
Okay, I'm going to stop this, I guess. Very, very slow video. Seemed to issue on all of YouTube. Oh. Go to Twitter and see if YouTube is down.
This is pretty much how I saw today going, so it works out.
Twitter is the best. Twitter is the best for finding out if something is down. LOL. Yes, YouTube is having problems right now. Happy to see it isn't just me.
All right. Well, the question is, will we still be able to record this as an export?
Well,
which is now 4 minutes in to
I know.
the audio or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we could stop it and restart it. It might just pick back up. It's possible.
Depends on how you want to play
It's
it.
back. I can see you. Sounds like a YouTube issue. I came from another YouTube video, and I was having problems with buffering that other video. Someone else also confirms the same.
So for
we got
once, it's not us.
It's not us. So we got people in the chat. I mean, we can just record the show because we probably don't have time to like wait for YouTube to figure out their stuff. So I think people in the chat, if you are tuning in, this might be a YouTube issue. It sounds like it's a YouTube issue. We're going to potentially go in and out, but we're just going to kind of carry on as normal. So yeah, welcome to Mountain Outpost Pod 23. This one is a special one because it's late and technical difficulties, but we're keeping it alive and we're going for it. So where are you at right now?
I am at my quote-unquote altitude camp, basically in Denver, Colorado. So I haven't been here since episode like 2 or 3, trying to breathe in that thin air and live the dream. So that's where I'm coming from. But where are you coming from? Because I think that's not where you're going to be located in like 24 hours.
Oh, I mean, you know the scene here. This is just the studio. I'm going to be in Moab, Utah tomorrow, and there's a Salomon running academy taking place. So people applied to this. It's like an all expenses paid trip to come up to Moab, get to run with and hang out with myself, with Courtney DeWalter, with Max King. We're going to do a bunch of fun stuff. So go on some group runs. We're going to do some different little seminars on, definitely going to be talking about some different Salomon products. There's going to be some awesome swag for the participants, and talking about content, like creating content will be like one of my pieces. And there's going to be some other things that Courtney and Max will get into from their expertise. So there's 2 different groups of 8. So I think there's a shorter distance, like people that focus on shorter distance running, trail running, and then ultra distance trail running. So there's 2 sets of 8. I think they have a little bit of overlap in the middle. The 3 of us will be out there the whole time helping with this. So should be a good time. Looking forward to it. I was just up in Moab this last weekend for an Ultra Glide shoe demo, and that is Salomon's newest like ultra comfort shoe, they're calling it. So it's like softer, more cushy foam and really comfortable fit. It's a shoe that I ran the last 160 miles of Cocodona in. I had a demo pair, and then I got to try the production model for the first time on Saturday. It was awesome. It was better than the pair I had. It was softer and more cushioned, and so got my first couple runs back from Cocodona over the weekend up in Moab, and then took a few days off back here in Phoenix. And then I'm sure I'll be getting some good runs in probably the whole rest of the week while I'm up there. Can only imagine. Yeah, that's kind of the plan. So it's like a heavy Salomon week for me. Yeah.
So that means we're also officially on the Hardrock grind after last week's episode where you were talking about easing into training. It sounds like we're finally on a what sounds like could be a consistent trajectory towards Hardrock.
Yeah, and I was contemplating starting it from this last weekend and decided to take a few more days, let that settle in. But I think here on out, like I probably need to just commit to a daily run, like a minimum an hour a day. It's kind of what I was thinking. From here, maybe all the way to Hardrock. Just give me some good consistency. So I'm saying it right now.
All right. You heard it here first. That's how we keep Jamil accountable. If you do not see something on Strava, you can harass him in the comments, and we will make sure that in the Discord channel, we're pinging you to make sure that you are getting in your hour of activity. Because listen, man, I can't see you go to Hardrock and be on a let's just finish sort of trajectory. I gotta see you ball out. All right, it's time.
All right, that's fair. It sounds like Facebook is working well, so we got people going over to the Facebook. That's smart.
Okay, cool. We're making it work.
I'm just gonna tell people I'm here in the chat. Cool.
That's
awesome.
fine.
Live on Facebook. We got it back up.
Good.
Yeah, that's awesome. So are you going to be acclimating in Colorado all the way up to Hardrock, or what's going on?
I got a couple things going on. So I'm up here for, I guess, sort of like a general altitude camp of sorts, mostly because I had until like 7 hours ago, I had free time at work where I was going to be able to work from anywhere. That quickly changed. I have to go back to California for 26 quick hours. But now I'm going to be up here for a couple of weeks just trying to, breathe the thin air, try to get a little bit of fitness in. And then I'll be in California for most of June, figuring out if Western States is going to be in play. And then back up here in Colorado for either a Hardrock pacing job and or a wedding dance floor throwdown, because that takes a lot of cardio on my part too. So nothing too crazy up here. I did sign up for a 15K this weekend on a whim because I was like, I already have to do an up-tempo run, so might as well just make it a race effort and see what happens, which will be hilarious because I haven't ran fast in a while, and at altitude could murder me. But all things considered, it's gonna be just a good way to kick off training. This is sort of like week 2 of my training plan into Skyline, so I have 11 weeks or so until the 50K PR attempt this year, and Just excited to get after it. We did the San Francisco Running Company group run, first one back since the pandemic this past Saturday. So I got dragged around with a bunch of old friends. Patty O'Leary was out there. Alex Varner was out there. Olivia, who you will see this week at the Salomon Academy, was out there. A lot of good friends, a lot of good folks just dragging me along for 16 miles and like 2,200 feet of climb. Me tempoing like off of hills and stuff. I was like, oh Lord, this is reminiscent of 2016, which is what it needs to be for me to be setting PRs across the board. So yeah, man, I'm excited to get back to real training and tear it up.
What race are you doing coming up?
That's a good question. It's an ERS race. I think it's at Bar Lake. So it's like Eastern Denver, like out that way. There's a town name. I don't know. Literally, I got an email about it and was like, yeah, what's the worst that could happen? It's 9.3 miles. Like if I cramp up and limp it in, like whatever it is, what it is. But if you're going to be out there or you're just in the greater Denver metroplex over the next couple of weeks and you have a group run or you and a couple of buddies are going to run something fun, slide in the DMs. Let me know because you might just see me and you might see me cry as well because I'm not in shape for this sort of thing. So we'll get weird.
Nice. That's awesome. Shout out. We got some people in the chat on Facebook. Jem Rooney's in here. Matt Feldake's in here. Michelle Martin has a question. Yeah. Michelle Martin, real quick, I'll just answer your question, but feel free to drop them in the chat. How are you guys feeling now a little further out from Cocodona? Are you caught up on some sleep?
I am. Oh yeah. I slept
yeah.
As soon as I got back. I was out. There's photographic evidence where I literally landed, got home, and then went to sleep for another like 6 hours. No, I'm feeling good. Obviously, I wasn't out there for nearly as long as you were, and nearly the amount of miles. But yeah, things are back on all cylinders for me. But how are you feeling?
Pretty good. I mean, legs were a little heavy, but I'm not injured, feel pretty good overall. Not as beat up as I thought I would be. My biggest pain point was my blisters, but those are kind of peeling and kind of healing.
All the sexy things.
Yeah, we can get into it a little bit. I mean, I'll let I like to pick the skin off at some point and kind of clean it up. Yeah. But I was picking the pinky one, and the toenail just came right off the other night. So a little visual for you after running to 250. Could be worse.
You're not helping our When a Date with Jamil Coury contest from this upcoming summer. Like I'm gonna preview that. We're gonna do a whole dating game, but this is not helping, or it's really leaning down the folks who should actually qualify for this. So thanks for that visual, my guy.
I mean, it's a reality, so that's what I got. What? Okay, we can move on from
real loose show.
It's some realness, yeah. What do you want from me?
Jesus, every day make me proud. Should we get into some run flat news?
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's just go through the normal. In case you're unfamiliar with this podcast, it's we talk running, we talk life. It's two dudes catching up. So first and foremost, speaking of like run flat news, and obviously as the run flat stay low guy, I'm at altitude now. I was at sea level this time yesterday, literally like on the beach trying to get the thickest air possible at sea level, and I got like real low, like one knee low. So,
oh no way! What? Yes.
There you go, buddy.
Congratulations.
So the best way to tell you.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. So that's it. I'm engaged. That's the thing now.
Woo!
So,
I need like a celebration button or something.
That would be the DJ air horn that we both have. So that happens.
That's
so
exciting.
That's
Congratulations.
I thought about calling you and then was like, no, we'll save it for the pod because that'll be way more entertaining to get his raw reaction on the internet forever. So awesome. But yeah, we're excited. So you want to pop in? You can say hey.
Congratulations. Hey.
Thank you.
Are you excited?
I would. Okay. Well, in fairness, I would like to think she's excited, but she also asked me as it was happening, "Are you serious?" And it seemed like a really weird thing to joke about. So, I think she's come to terms with it by this point. But
Do you want to share this any more about the story of the proposal?
Actually, you will appreciate this. So the vlog actually played a very pivotal role in this proposal story. So we were like on our way to dinner, and I was taking a very circuitous route because it has less stoplights, which I maintain it actually is a faster route to the place we're going, but she's going to argue that point with me based on this look. But all of a sudden, like, we were going past the beach, and I was like, oh, like, I'm gonna be at altitude tomorrow. Like, let me do a preview bump. Like, oh, like I'm at sea level, and then like we'll do a fun transition, and then all of a sudden I'll be at altitude. Like, it'll work for the vlog. And she's like, you're an idiot. I don't get this. Whatever. So I like abruptly park, and like I hop out, and I just like run towards the beach. And she thinks it'd be funny to troll me. And so she starts like Instagram videoing me, like influencers in the wild, like, oh, look at this guy just like talking to himself on a camera. Like, what a douchebag, like, because I wasn't already self-conscious about running around filming myself with a camera ever. And then I was like, just put the camera down, and I'm already down on one knee. So like, hey, by the way, here's a ring, and here you go. So I didn't say it like that, but for brevity and podcast story, that's more or less the paraphrasing version of how it went. So her trolling me for a Run Flat vlog is why she has a first-person account of me getting ready to propose. So that's where I'm at in life. So yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Things are changing. 2021 is weird.
Awesome.
Cool. All right.
Now
so that's
I
the
don't know
personal
where
Run Flat news.
Yeah. Good.
I have actual Run Flat news, but that was like the personal Run Flat news. But we'll move on. So things that happened in the running world not related to
transition.
Me. Great transition because whatever. So let's talk pro stuff. We talked last week that it was going to be a big college week, but we also obviously had a few pro meets going off, most spectacularly here in the U.S. That Sound Running track meet that happened Friday and Saturday. If you paid the $6 to watch online and helped pay the prize pool for the athletes, awesome, solid for you. I don't always want to pay for subscriptions, but if you're going to make me pay, that's a great way to make me do it because I know it's going into the pockets of athletes. So at that meet, Matthew Centrowitz is back, baby. The 2016 Olympic champion in the 1500 had been injured last year, ran like a 150 800 a couple weeks ago, had really not done much. People were getting a little bit concerned. And then he cruises a 3:35 1500. So the third fastest time, a top three time in the U.S. this year. We've seen time and time again for the past 3-4 months, all of these American athletes that are running like 3:37, 3:38. His first 1500 back, literally looking over his shoulder the entire last 100, just like gloating at the line, arms out like I'm back, baby, just shrugging. It was the like peak distance runner ego, and it was so great to see. So Centrowitz is back. Watch out for him because we only have 5 or so weeks until the Olympic trials, and if he can cruise a 3:35 for the win, then getting top 3 at the Olympic trials is looking pretty solid for him. However, on his back on the college scene, Yared Nuguse in the prelims, just literally he's like, okay, you know what? I need the Olympic standard. I don't understand the Olympic ranking system. Like this whole, if I run fast enough in enough races that I might make it, leaves nothing to chance. He solos an NCAA collegiate record 3:34.68. Like he was ahead by like 6 seconds after 300 meters. Like it was something ridiculous. There's no rabbit. He's just gone. He's like, I'm going to run the Olympic standard on my own and then come back the next day and try to win a conference championship. It was a thing of beauty. You can see the video of his finish like all over the place, but 3:34 for the college, for the collegiate athlete, for the collegiate record, crushed it. Not to be outdone, we did see in the Pac-12, Cooper Tier from Oregon won the 1500. So again, he's one of the three people between Jared Naguse, Matt Centrowitz, and himself who broken 3:36 for the 1500 this season. Cole Hawker is going to be right on his heels. Cole Hawker actually won the 5K at Pac-12s. But these college kids, there's a real world where we might have two of them qualify in the 1500, and we might have one potentially even make it, if not more, in the 5K. So watch out for these young bucks on the domestic side. So that happened in the men's world. I also do want to point out, if you do like running as a boxing sport or it's just a pugilistic sport, in the Big 12 championships, and if you have ESPN or it's probably on YouTube at this point, you can find it. Yusef Burisma won the 1500 in the Big 12 championships, outleaned Festus Legat of Iowa State. Basically, Festus Legat, there was like accidental hitting at the finish line. Festus Legat, yard sales, Supermans across the finish line, ends up losing to Burisma. They come back in the 800, like an hour and a half later. You literally see Festus Legat on the outside of lane 1 in the lead, moves all the way out to lane 4, straight bodies Burisma. Like it is if it was a hockey check into the boards. You literally just see him just like drop the shoulder. It was the craziest thing to watch. Obviously, he got DQ'd, and it didn't even matter because Yusuf still won the 1500, or still won the 800, even though he got bodied. But it was just like, all right, if you want to see rubbing as racing, go back and watch that Big 12 800. You'll appreciate it. On the women's side, for all things run flat, on the pro side, Sarah Hall, back on the track, ran a 31-21 for third place at the Sound Running track meet behind Edna Kurgat, who also ran 31-21. Andrea Sekafian, I think is how you say her name. She ended up with the win in 31-13. It was a pretty big weekend for American women breaking out. We also saw in the 5K, Josette Norris ran well under the Olympic standard. It was absurd. When you just go look at her Instagram and you see like her hugging her mom and like, I broke your PR, like it's a whole thing. Huge breakouts run for somebody who is completely under the radar with a month ago until the Olympic trials. So a lot of great things happened at that Sound Running track meet. We're going to go full in depth in a couple of weeks based on, where folks are with the standard, a couple last chance meets to get those qualifiers. But so that's where we're at on the women's side for pros. Women's side for college, BYU basically just stunted on everyone. They have like 4 of the top 12 milers or 1,500 runners in the nation. Courtney Wayment ran like a ridiculous 5K just behind Whitney Orton. So they have, I think, I want to say 3 of the top 4 5K athletes as well for BYU in the collegiate scene. So the BYU, not great in the sprints. But on the women's side, they might just sneak a ton of points in the distance events and be a podium threat at NCAAs in a month's time. So something to keep track of. Next week, we'll do a whole deep dive to prepare everyone for the NCAA prelims. But just know, BYU women, it's going to be ridiculous. On the men's side, it's LSU's to lose. But we'll, again, preview all of that next week. So get excited. I'm going to prepare everyone for things that are coming ahead. If you are a recreational athlete, you probably saw that the New York City Marathon got approved for 60% capacity. So 33,000 runners or so are going to be towing the line November 7th. It's down, I think it's like 18 or 20,000 from the normal number. The number can also float upwards from here based on how COVID cases are looking. I don't know how that's going to operationalize because everyone who was supposed to registered because of guaranteed entry had to submit their preferences about a month ago now. And so those notifications are supposed to go out in early June. And then New York is normally pretty much just a lottery. So are you going to say, hey, you're like second tier? Like if more spaces get in or if we get approval for higher capacity, then we're going to let you in and you're like in that first tier of folks. I have no idea how that's going to work. At what point do you cut it off and just say we're going to cap it at this number? A lot of details still forthcoming, but at least we know 33,000 runners going to be toeing the line at New York City. That is, 13,000 more that we're going to see at Boston. So track and distance running on the roads are back in the fall. Get excited. But we don't have to wait till the fall for crazy things to happen. Tomorrow, we have Joshua Cheptegei. He's going to be running a 3,000 meter, not something you see very often on an outdoor track, but he's going for that world record of 7:20 at Ostavia, I want to say. That's how you say it. So you'll see a bunch of news about that because I don't think it's actually being streamed anywhere. Maybe it's on FlowTrack, but I'll tweet out a link if that's a thing. And then this weekend, the New York City qualifier, Friends of the Pod, Trials of Miles, back, free track on YouTube. It's going to be on the Citius Mag YouTube page. Honestly, there's a number of people who are still going for the Olympic Trials qualifiers. We've talked about this for a number of different shows. This is the last Trials of Miles qualifier race that's going to be happening during this series. But most importantly, in my heart, and I assume Jamil's, Chris Chavez, host of the Citius Mag pod, founder of Citius Mag, against Malcolm Gladwell, the author, the philosopher, everything. I don't know. I really want to qualify him. He's done so much at this point. They're both trying to break 5 in the mile, and they're towing the line. It's going to be on YouTube. It's literally like the first race that they're showing on the primetime live stream. So if you want to see,
it's mano y mano.
It's literally mano y mano. It's Chris Chavez, Malcolm Gladwell. I assume they got to have like a pacer or two because like 2 dudes going after it is it's even in a high school race that would be rough. But to do that for the spectacle of like 800 people in Icon Stadium, and then the thousands of people who will watch on YouTube. That's aggressive. Put a pacer out there, do something.
Sure.
But the 2 of them are trying to break 5 in the mile, which I can appreciate because that's also one of my goals this year. So they're going to be towing the line. It's, I believe, 7 p.m. Eastern on the Citius Mag YouTube channel, and then obviously all the professional races for the folks who are going for both the Olympic Trials qualifier and the Olympic standards, and a host of distance events will happen thereafter. So free track is back. Get excited to watch that this weekend. Yeah, that's Run Flat news in a nutshell off the top of the dome that I wrote in the back of a car on my way from the airport to here. So
that's legit.
Yeah. Oh, snap. Also, this is kind of like a bleed over into your territory. Did you hear about the Kipchoge interview with FlowTrack today?
Mm-mm.
Turns out Elliot has 3 main things that he wants to accomplish. Obviously, he's focused on Tokyo, and we're talking about the world record holder in the marathon, the only person to ever go sub 2, even though an unsanctioned event, multi-decorated marathoner for those who somehow don't know who Elliot Kipchoge is, but his plan, obviously, trying to crush it at the Olympics this summer. He also wants to do the remaining 3 world marathon majors he has not done. So that would be Boston, New York, and Tokyo, I believe, are the 3 that he hasn't done. So Elliot racing domestically for us here in the United States could be very interesting to watch here in 2022. And then he said his goal, and we've seen this from the NN project broadly, is just to keep inspiring people to run. So as he starts to enter the twilight of his career, he's talking about running ultras. He's talking like 60K, 80K. Like, I think it's a distance that I would like to explore. He even said, like, I got to go out to California and see what's up. Like, it was like he mentioned it on this pod, so you can track
what's up.
I don't know. Listen, I didn't. You can fact check.
Okay.
Western. Maybe he wants to do Western
States. That would be amazing.
I'm just saying.
Javelina? Anyone?
That would play to his strengths pretty well.
Get it on his radar. Yeah, that would be the one. I mean, Comrades comes to mind, of course.
Naturally, yeah. But no, he was talking about it would be something he would want to explore. So
interesting. That's awesome.
Get excited.
Oh yeah.
All right, but that's Run Flat news in a nutshell. So.
Nice.
Cool.
I'm a bit behind on my stuff. I don't have a whole lot. I mean, I was looking through some of the results over the weekend. Well, we got to shout out John Kelly.
Absolutely.
He broke the Pennin Way. I'm probably mispronouncing that, like always. Pennin Way FKT. It's in the UK. It runs from, I think, right near the Scotland border, and then like 268 miles south, through some pretty rugged terrain, it looked like, and he broke the record by 3 hours. So I think he was just under 60. It was like 58 and some change for 268 miles. So that's impressive. He's got to come and do Cocodona now.
I know, right?
I actually need to plant that. Make sure that seed is planted for him. So that would be good. What else? I mean, there's a bunch. It's just like races are opening up, races are happening. I did see what's his name? Ultra Runner podcast. Eric Strands was like tweeting out, trying to find out. I didn't respond, but I'll respond here on the pod. He was like trying to find out if the latest recommendations from the CDC on mask wearing has like made its way into the race permitting world yet. Like, he's just curious if that had any effect.
Fair.
It's a good question. From my perspective, nothing has changed yet, and typically permitting agencies don't historically act that quickly to like some sort of a news like that. So I think it takes some time to filter down through like all the kind of the bureaucracy and things like that. So I think the biggest thing would be, would they require masks to say walk up to the start line? Because right now we don't even have to require masks when you're running, just when you arrive, when you are in an aid station, for volunteers, and then also at the finish. So I think I'm anticipating that would ease up as we go through the year. So, but I think it's just going to take a little bit of time to kind of filter its way through the permitting process. We're going to ask our agencies and see. We're not going to be able to remove that requirement here in Arizona until we get the go-ahead from the parks or the Forest Service or whatever. So a little insight on that piece of things from my perspective. Let's see. Shout out to... We're getting a lot of press for Cocodona, especially from the winners. Like for Stieg, he's like Mr. Satisfy Running now. His stuff is hilarious. I don't know, man. He's just so great. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just so good.
It's literally the Versteeg we've always known, personally. But now people are, because of this, learning about the majestic that is.
Yeah, it's like he's fine. It is weird because I feel like we've been hyping him or promoting him for years, but yeah, he seems to be getting some good traction from this particular thing. And I think, he just represents an authenticity of just who he is and brings that to everything he does. And to him, ultra running isn't like his whole persona.
Right.
But clearly he enjoys it, he does it, and is inspired to do things like this. And I think it's cool. I think it's just great to see like different takes on the sport and different attitudes. Anything on your perspective on that?
I mean, I just refer everyone back to the Whiskey Man special documentary. And
exactly.
He is authentically himself, which I can appreciate for anyone, like ultra runner or otherwise. Like, the man has not changed a bit. He lives his truth. He owns that, and he's completely leaned into it. And it's not just for show. It's not just because, he was on camera on a live stream during a race. Like, no, that is 100% him. And that's what makes it awesome. So,
exactly.
It's just, you have to appreciate anyone who can be completely authentic and completely congruent in their skin, regardless of like what that brings about. But for him to do so in a way that's, I don't want to say counterculture, but it goes against the grain of what so many people have tried to bring, not just into our sport, but just like into how to like professionalize like living and being an athlete. It's cool to see. So Shout out to him.
Like lives life on his own terms. But yeah, if you want, there's obviously some great articles floating around. You should definitely check out the pre-race magazine. It's a written interview with Satisfy Running. It's like, I think it's Possessed Magazine is like their little publication they put out every week. It's pretty cool. Some of the stories are just great. And then he's done some more podcasts. But yeah, if you want to check out the Whiskey Man on YouTube, there's just long form interviews. Like you kind of get a sense behind the scenes of a little bit about his life. And there will be a lot more of that in the Cocodona documentary. We've got a lot of Michael Verstegen there. So if you're a fan of the Whiskey Man, there's a lot more coming where that came from. So
I'm gonna be real with you. I was actually surprised that so while you were still out there, me and your father hopped over to the finish line to say hi to your mom before we got food, and he was just like hanging out. It was, I don't know, like 12 hours after he had finished or what have you. No, it must have been more than that because he finished in the early morning. So he'd been done. He'd gone home, like relaxed, came back, was just hanging out. And the fact that like he recognized me, like I actually had like a fanboy moment. And I was just like, oh, you do remember who I am. Like I got giddy on the inside. So no, he's just an awesome guy. And if you have the opportunity to spend time in his presence, you feel good that they're just like real people in the world still. And it's not everything's, people doing fake stuff on Instagram. Like he's just like legit him. So yeah, if you find an opportunity to cross paths with him, are you bringing him up to Hardrock? Is he gonna be hanging out? Do you know what his plans are?
No, I'm not sure yet. Not sure. I'm sure we could get. He'll probably like want to do some like crazy off trail stuff. Yeah. Which sounds like fun. Actually, Mariette Hunefield says, I love the 90-minute post-AZT FKT interview with Versteeg. I actually forgot about that. I think that's on one of our channels. I honestly don't even remember what he talked about. I should go rewatch that or listen to it maybe on my drive to Moab. But, yeah, we did. I mean, we filmed and supported him on part of his Arizona Trail at the beginning and end. And I'm sure there's some gold in there as well. All right, where are we at? We got some questions in the chat.
We got questions in the chat. We got some IG questions, but we can think back and forth.
Well, first off, you had a ton of congratulations in the chat room from a lot of people, so
thank you.
That's exciting. Let's see here, kind of going up. Eric Estabrook, doing my first in-person Aravaipa race, Silverton Alpine Marathon. Would love to say hi if y'all will be in town early for Hardrock. I'm planning. Me.
Is that the you direction? Yeah, it's a you thing.
I'm hoping to be up there by then. Yeah, I should be up there by then. So definitely come hang out. Hopefully we'll be able to do some hangouts like after Silverton Alpine, like that night somewhere in town. There is a lot of people signed up for Kendall and Silverton Alpine this year. It's pretty unbelievable. I think we're at 3:30 for the Alpine Marathon races, which is by far the biggest it's been. And I think we're trying to get a capacity increase, maybe like 400. And then Kendall, I think, is already at like 230, 240. And there's like, I think we have up to 300 spots for that one. So those are going to be exciting. It's going to be awesome.
And remind me, so Kendall is now before Hardrock?
Yeah, so we moved both races to the same weekend, and then they're 1 week before Hardrock. So you've got Silverton Alpine Marathon 50K, and there's an 8-mile, and that's on Saturday. And then Kendall Mountain Run is on Sunday. So, and you can double and do the mountain duo and do both. And I'm hoping we can get permission to live stream Kendall Mountain Run. So I'm putting that out there in the world. Stay tuned. At some point, we'll probably be talking more about this, but I think that might be our next live stream. It's going to be kind of a Mount Marathon style, if you've ever seen the coverage they do of that race. Except, that's a 5K. This is 12 miles. It's still, I mean, the men's record is like 130 something, and the women's is like just under 2. So it's going to be exciting, fast and furious, from town to the top of Kendall at 13,000 and all the way back down to town. So should be a good time. And that was a long response. Abraham Franson, I don't know much about Hardrock. Is it one of the premier ultras? So Hardrock, it's in the San Juan Mountains of southwestern Colorado. It's one of the highest ultras in the world. It tops out at 14,000 feet. It's 100 miles of rugged mountain terrain. And so it's high altitude. There's 33,000 feet of climbing and descent. It's a single loop. It connects Silverton, Ouray, and Telluride. And it's one of the most beautiful race courses, one of the toughest. It's an event that was started as a tribute to the Hardrock miners that lived in the area and worked the mines almost year-round up there. So it's an event I've been fortunate to be a part of since 2007 is the first time I went to help mark the course and do trail work and be part of it. And going for my 5th finish this year. Yeah, it's a good time. It's extremely limited field size. That's kind of the downside of the event is it's extremely popular and it's very hard to get into. There's only 150 spots and there's like a couple thousand people apply. So, and they had to cancel 2 years in a row. So it's the Hardrock stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and I feel like there's a natural dovetail here, which is, when you think of other large races in America, your Western states, your Javelinas, your JFKs, Hardrock is its own beast. I say this as somebody who's never competed in it, so don't take this as the word of Jamil, but it's one that like really tries to hold on to its grassroots nature. Very small, very eco-conscious, like all of those elements they want you. It really highlights the preservation of the location in which it takes place, which also plays into the cancellations because one year is because of wildfires. And so, and try to be smart about those things. So I think that it also, it's premier, but it's also, it's got a very special nugget in a way that is not as accessible as, your JFK, your, what used to be the North Face series, and then Javelina. So it has a different bucket and it attracts a different type of runner. But it is one that you should definitely follow because as a fan, attracts some of the top talent. Even Dylan Bowman in his Pillars podcast with Mario Fraioli talking about the UTMB Ironman sort of group merger. He was saying, I'm not doing UTMB this year because I'm doing Hardrock, and any year I get into Hardrock, I'm choosing Hardrock over UTMB no matter what. Like it has that sort of appeal, especially for Americans. So if that helps you as a fan conceptualize what Hardrock means, I think that that's probably the one of the larger testaments you can make to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a special race. It's a family culture. I don't know of many other races that have the experience that Hardrock does, at least for me personally. There's no other 100-miler or ultra that I've been to where I would go out 2 weeks early and I would, go help mark the course like 5 days in a row and then do 2 days of trail work and then hang out with people and like it becomes a Hardrock family and for them, like making sure that some of those same faces and characters are like there every year. They don't want to grow the race to beyond a size where they can have this like intimacy of the people that participate. So, the Silverton gym, it's a very small town, like the whole race and family and friends and everyone needs to fit inside the gym so they can do their presentations and the awards and the breakfast they do. And, it's just a part of the race they've built. And, because of that, it got, and other things that they've done so well, it's become successful. They don't necessarily, it's just kind of like they're like a victim of their own success kind of a thing where they didn't necessarily set out to make this globally known event that's captured the imagination of people. But because of what it is, it's done that. And so, yeah, it's a tough thing. Preserving what they, as the founders and the organizers, set out to create, and kind of like not compromising those values for maybe what, it's like the polar opposite of a UTMB. And I think that's part of what makes, I think a lot of American ultra running is that way. It's just, it's a special thing, and we kind of do our own thing. We don't just go the way of the world necessarily. So.
Yeah. I mean, and there's a shadow side of that, which is a whole nother conversation, which is, when you have a race that is so small, so exclusive, that it then like alienates certain people, or it creates it creates natural enemies where folks are like, well, I'll never get into this race, or like I keep getting in the lottery and I can't get tickets, and so like, why does it need to be this way? It should be larger. And it's the same thing. It was essentially in the same line of thinking that folks were like, the Barkley is exclusive. It's like, yeah, it is. Like that's how these races are set up by design. And so this is the ongoing conversation in ultra running specifically that, and I think probably, to some respects, some road running as well. But, it's the balance of this grassroots origin story of the sport versus, what makes most sense for bringing people in. What does it mean to be inclusive of a larger community? Can you still have exclusive races when you're trying to bring in folks to what's supposed to be a pretty equipmentless sport? And then, like, what does that mean for media attention and all the things that come with it? So, yeah there's also that component too, which is,
well,
it is what it is.
I mean, yeah, I just have to also mention, like, there are some other inequalities with the race too, I mean, I know there's some gender issues and things, and I don't want to turn this into a whole Hard Rock discussion, but, we're just touching a little bit on it. Yeah. So.
That's hard. There's a lot you can read. I'm sure there's many articles and think pieces.
We're not definitive people on it. Okay, let's jump back into the chat. Thoughts on DK Metcalf in the 100-meter? Did he show well, all things considered, or did he get smoked?
We touched on this last week. Yes. All things considered, did well because it was the prelims and the guys at the front were going a little bit easier in an attempt to qualify for the final. By just like the visual of it, he didn't get smoked. But if you take the same times that those guys ran in the final and then put DK in put DK's race from the prelim against the guys who qualified for the final, there was like a legit visual gap you would have seen. He would have lost by an extra 0.2 of a second. Then it would have been like, oh, he definitely got roasted. But because that's how prelims work, it looked like he was right on the back of the pack and he got towed along and he did fine. All that being said, 10:37 for a person who is not really trained in the blocks for quite a few years is still solid for sure. And the fact that he didn't just talk about it, he was about it. He showed up and he raced legitimate professionals who are trying to make an Olympic team this year. Like, that's what's up. It wasn't just like, I'm going to have my Twitter fingers and talk a bunch of bump. He showed up. So listen, he could have got blown up by an extra 0.3 of a second. But the fact that he showed up was already going to have credence in my book. But, he overperformed based on expectations. And I'm waiting for more professionals in their offseason to come through. I mean, like, as a track coach, I'm always trying to tell football players, like, get the hell out here. Like, you could run the same routes an extra 3 months during spring ball and not have contact, or we can come out here and really work on your speed so you can get separation. And the fact that he was actually putting that into practice as a professional, we don't see that often. So shout out to DK. But, I mean, yeah, he still did take class. So let's not lose sight of that too.
Let's see. Abraham Franson. This happened to do with Cocodona. Curious about the city of Jerome, why they didn't want any photos. Yeah, I think they're just concerned. We did run, we ran down some sensitive residential streets, and they didn't want any to disturb the residents was, I think, one of the biggest things. So especially it's a first year unknown event. And I think it sounds like we complied pretty well. We're going to be, hopefully, we might have a new way of coming into Jerome next year. So Stay tuned for that, but hopefully it's all positive, and hopefully we'll know more soon. But yeah, just shout out to all the runners and crews that helped with us with that. So we really appreciate it. Let's see. Carrie Allen, what do you have going on in Moab? Going to be there for 2 weeks soon. We talked about this at the beginning of the pod. I was just there this last weekend for a launch of the Salomon Ultra Glide shoe, and then I'm heading back for the Salomon Running Academy, and this is where 2 groups of 8 runners get to come, and they basically get a paid trip to come and hang out with Courtney, myself, Max King, and we're going to be doing some different seminars and some different running, group runs and things around Moab. So it should be pretty exciting. Matt Feldhake says, Hardrock live stream.
That might be a stretch.
Dale, you out there?
Don't get me wrong. People would be stoked for it. I'm thinking, as somebody who just like tried to do camera work once, there are some parts where it might be real difficult to get some footage.
I do know I believe drones are not allowed at Hardrock, so that we'd have to get around that, number one, because that'd be some great drone shots for sure. We
need to have more dedicated Twitter activity. I feel like I love I Run Far. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like we end up in this pocket where it's like not every outlet can get to every aid station, and there's some points where you're flying blind or you're creating your own adventure, trying to figure out what your Twitter list should be to stay up to date on things. We got to come up with a centralized plan to help people out. I think either we got to beef up one of these media outlets, or we got to come up with just like a consortium think tank to make sure that the good word gets out.
Crowdsourcing live
exactly.
streams. Yeah.
Also pretty much true for Western, but because same sort of situation. But maybe it's just a domestic ultra issue, like writ large. We got to do better about on-course tracking, and when it's not a looped course and it's not covered by an Airbyper live stream. So
Hardrock has I think they have the satellite tracking now, at least, which is nice.
Oh, okay.
Rob Ricardo's in the chat. He said he just called Dale. He said not this year. So you heard it here first, folks. Marriott Hunefield again is a mere human. I volunteered at Hardrock Aid Station all night 3 years ago and had the best time. I had a good time out there. They've got some great aid stations, that's for sure. That's all the questions I have over here on Facebook. So definitely shout out. More people, ask us some more questions, but you have some Instagram stuff?
I do. I got a couple more that have come in. So first things first, going back to the Malcolm Gladwell, Chris Chavez 5 flat situation. 2-part question. 1, where's your money? Who's going to win? And 2, will one or both break 5? And if so, what will be the winning time?
Oh, wow. That's a lot of questions.
It's 2. Will somebody break 5?
Who will win? Well, it was who will win. Will they
be the winning time?
Will they break 5? Will be winning time.
3. Okay.
I'll say they'll both break 5, because why not? I'll say Chavez gets the W, and the winning time is 4:55.
Respect. Okay. I also think Chris Chavez will win. And to support this argument, because he did the Goggins 4x4x48 challenge, I think he's got a bit more in the tank, a bit more aerobic base, and just a grit factor that'll prove itself well here. So I think he'll win. I think he will win in 4:53. I think Gladwell will also break 5. I think he's going to come through in 4:57 mid.
Nice.
That's where I'm at. But I'm excited. It's gonna be good entertainment. Honestly, at that point, if you got a 50-year-old Malcolm Gladwell showing us up, like if you can't watch that and then get hyped to go do something, like you don't have a competitive bone in your body when it comes to running. So I'm ready. I'm ready for this.
And that's going down Saturday?
Saturday. Yep. Saturday at, I believe, 7 Eastern. I'll post on my IG and I'll tag you in it so you can repost it as well. But yeah, Sidious Mag, it's all free. So if you're sitting at home doing whatever it is you do on a Saturday night, then you can throw that up in the background. Another question, real specific. Will you ever run the Dipsy race? So for context, the Dipsy is a race that happens from Mill Valley to the coast, basically. But the cool thing about this is it's kind of a choose your own adventure. You have a defined start line, defined finish line, but there are shortcuts. And it's just whoever gets to the finish first wins, but it's handicapped as well. So based on either age gradient and past experience, you get like a certain buffer of time added on. So friends of the pod, Alex Varner, Patty O'Leary have done very well historically. I think Varner won it, 3 years in a row or something?
Varner?
Varner was always second.
He's never won.
He was always
it,
second.
He's been the fastest time a bunch of times, but he's like been bridesmaid multiple. Yeah.
Correct. That's what it was. And I think he was actually this Saturday was wearing a Bandit Dipsy sweater, if I remember correctly. So he's training for it. He's ready. He's excited. Him and Patty were actually talking about it and then proceeded to hammer a section of trail. And we were all like, y'all have fun with that. We're not going to run with you. We're not doing 540 down the road. That's dumb. So it's a great race. You have to mail your entry in. It's a whole thing. Would I do it? I would like to do it. It would be fun. I also get the doors blown off me. So I would be doing it for the entertainment value, not for me personally. This is not one of those things I'll be trying to carry a camera through because I would definitely fall off the damn trail. But it would be entertaining for me as a runner. No chance in hell I'd perform well there.
Yeah, I would say I would do it, but man, I would have to do a totally different style of training than my don't run and then go run 250-mile type of a thing. So I like the quad Dipsy was a good time. I would definitely do quad Dipsy again. That was so fun, and at a casual shenanigans type pace. That was a good time.
Good time is a weird way to frame how that day went down. I haven't had canned pumpkin since we did that challenge. So
no one has.
Yeah, well, that's also probably true.
Just straight out of a can. Yeah, not ideal.
Yeah, that was disgusting. Okay, so full disclosure, I definitely did in the middle of last week look at when the Quad Dipsy registration opened. So if you do want to come out for it, we might be doing that this year.
The quad?
Maybe.
All right. Okay.
I mean, obviously, a lot depends on how this whole New York City Marathon entry shakes out. But if there's a world where, I don't have a fall marathon or it's significantly earlier than I was anticipating because I'm not doing New York and I'm obviously not doing Boston anymore, then.
How close is it to TRE though now? Is it right?
Oh,
there?
It's literally the weekend before. We basically fly. For me, it'd be Race Saturday, and then I fly Monday morning to TRE. So we could be hanging out for a week, buddy. Come on down.
All right, we'll have to see because I think I signed myself up for the Frenzy 50-mile also.
You want to be an athlete? Okay, that's fine.
But we could do back to back. That'd be a good one.
No, don't say we. That's on you. You signed up for Frenzy. Don't put me in that boat.
All right. I can do back to back. Nancy Hobbs in the chat on YouTube. I jumped back over there. It sounds like it might be back. If you're not seated for Dipsy, you really get stuck behind a lot of people. The double Dipsy is really fun, I think, and also handicapped, is what she says.
Yeah, those stairs are crazy. If you get stuck.
Is it Stinson Beach that you end up at?
Think
Is that
so.
Stinson, I think? Yeah.
You asked me a lot of follow-up questions I was not prepared for, but yeah, I think it's. Is it? Yeah. Hold on. Let's pull up Google Maps. I should know this off the top of my head as a
I
Bay
mean,
Area resident. But
my brain pulled Stinson out of somewhere. Anyways, sweet.
In terms of other IG questions, the last one that I think is germane is Western States. Is it going to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Full,
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Holy.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Confidence.
I saw Craig Thornley, race director of Western States, was out at the Fort Tuthill aid station at Cocodona. So his brother, shout out, Chris Thornley, who's the founder of Squirrel's Nut Butter, is running that aid station. Has an aid station at most of AeroViper races, and so yeah, they had that on lockdown. It was a good time. But yeah, we were chatting with Craig, and they are requiring all their volunteers to be vaccinated. The runners don't have to be. What else did he say? I mean, they've cleared the wait list.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, because they had a lot of international people defer. So the wait list is completely cleared. They're not taking more names. It's just gonna be a little bit of a smaller year, which makes sense. I think if there's any year to do it, this is the year to do it. Yeah. And what it will actually end up doing is their permit's pretty interesting. There's not a set number of people per year that can run Western States. It's based upon a rolling average. So they can use this year to dip down a little bit this year, and then they could go above next year and actually let more people in. So in the long run, it could help out and be something good for that race.
Yeah, and one of the important things, just from a sort of pandemic perspective, is California looks like it's on track to eliminate its color tiered system that they've been using to sort of designate what's open in individual counties. So by the time the Western happens, a lot of the precautions that are currently in place will most likely be eliminated, especially if it goes back to local control, because that county is going to get rid of things quick. So, Western will happen. It'll be.
I think
I have no idea what that means for the school, like the finish line. That might be an interesting component, because school district might have a very specific take, but the rest of it should be pretty.
Yeah, and I don't want to like speak on behalf of Craig, but it sounds like it potentially might be fairly normal. So for whatever that means, there might be some reduced spectators or reduced crews, but could be fairly normal if those restrictions lift. Little bit more on the Dipsy. Nancy confirms Stinson Beach. Crispin Flower Day says even seated in the Dipsy, you still have to overtake a lot of people. Single Dipsy is the best Dipsy. Then the quad. Then he says then the quad, then the double. So however your math works out on that one, that's what he says.
Yeah, I think that tracks. I think the double Dipsy gets the least amount of respect. It's still hard. It's still 14 miles and 4,500 feet of climbing or something. Like, it's still brutal in its own respect.
Well, the single is the original, so you have to put that at the top, and then the quad is just badass.
Stupid.
It's just awesome. So, especially when it's raining and amazing.
Oh man,
muddy, it's slippery.
I still wear that shirt on a regular basis. I don't know how I was in shape for that. I don't know how you convinced me to do that.
You never know. And yeah, we were crazy back then. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. What are we doing?
We were young. We had so much future ahead of us, and look at us now.
Yeah.
We got kids, getting married. What the hell's happening?
Damn.
Life's changed, bro.
Yep.
Well, this is the end of the Mountain Outpost channel.
The channel's done now. Huh? It's funny. This is episode 23, and there was apparently a celebration post race. They're calling it Cocodona Aid Station 23. So I was down in Phoenix trying to see Tag, but the crew, I guess, went out and found like a location to camp the night after the race. and they had a little like staff get together, Aid Station 23. So, anyways,
I think they earned that at that point.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else to wrap it up for this week?
Nah, I think we got a fun weekend ahead of at least run flat stuff to track down. And then we're going to get into critical postseason. We're talking NCAA prelims in 2 weeks, 4 weeks from NCAA champs, 5 weeks from Olympic trials. And, we got, 2 weeks or so until Western States training camp. People are starting to buckle down, and everybody's doing stupid things on Strava that we're seeing. So I'm excited, man. Things are coming back to normal. So not a whole lot for this week, but just general joy for what the next 8 weeks hold and all things running. So we're back, baby. Yeah.
Woo! All right. Well, thank you guys all for tuning in. We appreciate you, even with our little technical difficulties. Saved by Facebook. Bet you never said that before. I heard that before. Anyways, I guess that's it. Be sure to subscribe if you guys want to check it out. All the things.
Hit that like button.
Yep.
Hit subscribe. If you're in Moab, yell at that guy. If you're in Denver, yell at me. And we'll be back next week. Probably back to the normal time. No promises. And, drop in the Discord. That's the last thing we got to talk about.
Oh, I got to drop in the Discord because I've been MIA for a couple weeks, so jump back in there.
Get in there. Well, maybe we'll hang out in the just talking section at some point. He's got a long drive, so maybe he'll hang out in there, and you can just chat with us offline. So hop in the Discord if you haven't. Link will be in the description of all of these channels. You can find it. Share this with a friend, both on YouTube, on Facebook, and the podcatcher of your choice. And we'll catch you guys next week for all things running, life, and the pursuit of happiness. I'm Skizzle Fresh. He's Jam Jam. We'll catch you guys later.
All right. See ya.